Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Stream Squad for Halloween. So this week we've got a great show for you guys. We're going to be talking about yesterday's Apple announcement and the new iPad Pro. We're also going to be discussing how Facebook groups are taking over social media and what's new with the Snap camera. We're also going to be letting you guys know how to use SwitcherCast in many different creative ways, and also how you can use SwitcherCast to set up Snap camera for your own productions. So stay tuned, we'll be right back.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Stream Squad. If it's your first time watching, yeah, I'm Jimmy, but also today I am Switcher Man.
Yay!
I've transformed into Switcher Man.
And I am Angela, of course. Today I am Lana Kane from Archer.
And also we've got one of the Fab Four here. We've got Ernesto, the Ghostbuster extraordinaire. He's one of the only ones left out there still truly in the field and working out, just ghost busting. You know, what's it like out there?
Well, it's a tough life being, kind of a loner,
Yeah, but
busting ghosts.
You're not afraid.
No, I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Okay, good. Good, that's great. I wouldn't have expected anything less. But yeah, welcome to our show. We're here every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, live on Facebook, live at facebook.com/SwitcherStudio. So if you are watching this on a replay on something like YouTube or later on Facebook, hey, come back and set a little calendar event for yourselves. Come see us 2 p.m. Wednesdays on facebook.com/SwitcherStudio. Write a comment, share with us pictures. What are you for Halloween? It's October 31st here in the United States, so if you're watching from abroad and you're very confused why we're so animated about and looking like an idiot today, yeah, just let us know what your traditions are for Halloween in the comments. Tell us if you would, who's your favorite costume from today, anything like that, and tell us where you're watching from. And please share this video out on your timeline. Let us get as many people watching this as we possibly can. So yeah, please do all those things. And we, for those of us who've been here before, we always like to do our thing, and just want to make sure you know. Oh yeah, and also here's how you follow us. Just go on there. If you're watching on the screen, just tap on the screen and hit follow. It's super easy. It's really simple. But every week on the show, we go through a couple of different segments. So let's start with our first segment right now, and that is the industry news. All right, so I think we're all pretty excited about this. Apple made a big announcement yesterday, including announcements about a new Mac Mini. We've got a new MacBook Air that's going to be coming out. It's the greenest MacBook Air that's ever come out. And also, they made a big announcement, which is especially important for people, especially if you're using Switcher and you're using iOS devices. Now we've got a new iPad Pro that's coming out, and it is better than any of the iPads I have ever seen. Some of the features with the iPad Pros, they actually released two different models. They've got an 11-inch model, or a model with an 11-inch screen. That's up from the 10.5, I believe, inch screen in the previous MacBook Pro, or the current model of the MacBook Pro. They've also got a 12.9-inch model. That's not larger. That's not a larger screen than the existing model. However, they've lowered the volume of the iPad itself, so it's going to help it be a little bit more portable. So that's a really big plus. It's also got an A12X Bionic chip in it, which, among other things, is apparently going to make it go like super light speed fast. They said they had numbers on the screen like 1,000x faster in many ways, so that's definitely great. It's got a 7-core GPU in it, so graphics is going to be a huge priority with this new device. It's got Face ID now, so there's no more home button, just like with the iPhone 10s that came out last year. We're starting to do away with some of these iconic features that we were used to seeing, and now we're moving into this other world where we're just going to use Face ID as facial recognition. You can see them on the screen here. Here's the two models. Another great thing about it, it's a 12 megapixel camera that's going to be built in, and it's capable of 4K at 30 frames and 60 frames per second recording in many cases. Of course, when you do the slow-mo video, we ramp the frame rate up and do some other things with that. That's not terribly new with some of these models, but one of the major developments with this is that this device is no longer going to have the Lightning connector. It comes with a USB-C connection on the bottom. So this is a really big development. And I think just to kind of round off this particular topic, I was curious, what are your all's take on, what's made you most excited about this iPad Pro announcement? Ernesto, what are you thinking?
I mean, I've been waiting for USB-C to be on Apple devices for a while now. And I was almost expecting it to be on there for the new iPhone 10, right?
Exactly.
I was kind of surprised that they didn't roll it out. So I was really excited that they did push it on the new iPad, mostly because we're getting that much closer to this awesome realization of one cable that will charge your device and do inputs and outputs, and it's universal.
Yeah.
It'll work on your laptop, your iPad, your phone, your PC or Mac or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think one of the important distinctions that I was noticing is that they were saying it's USB-C and it's not Thunderbolt 3. So even though Thunderbolt 3 has the same shape as USB-C, the port is what matters, not the cable. So yeah, it's going to be great to have a cable that can do all this. Apple's had a USB-C adapter in their store. I think it's $69.99, and it has USB-C to HDMI and USB, and it additionally has another USB-C port that's made for charging. So that if you have an iPad Pro with USB-C plugged into it, now with Switcher you can have HDMI output, and then you have USB input, so that allows you to do digital audio. If you get, there's a certain adapter made by Anker that's a 3-port USB hub with an Ethernet port on it. You basically got all the peripherals that you're ever going to need. So I'm really excited about what USB-C could mean for these computers, these iPads. They did remove the headphone jack from this generation of the iPad. So this next one, which by the way comes out November 7th, it does not have a headphone jack on it. So the only way to get audio into it now is going to be through a digital connection via USB or through USB-C.
Yeah, they're really getting away from talking about it as a tablet. They really want you to see it as a productivity device. So
and the stats show that it's outselling other competing tablets that are, or not even tablets, other computers combined. They were like outselling HP. So yeah, there's some great stats on there. What about you? What's your favorite thing? What are you most excited about this
For me, probably what I'm most excited about is, the processing power that it has. I know one thing that they mentioned during the announcement was the processor in here is faster than either most or all PC computers at this point, so that to me is amazing. They were showing just what can be done with it. Like they were showing an example of NBA 2K19 that's coming out for the new iPad Pro, and how it looks just like it would on a video game with like a 1080 or 4K TV.
They had the graphic with they said it has the same or better graphics power than an Xbox One.
Yeah,
they put that on the screen.
Which is amazing because I know, mobile games have been making developments in the past year, but to me, if I'm on a road trip and I'm trying to play a game on my phone, I'm expecting, Flappy Bird or Solitaire or something simple, and it's amazing to think now what I normally would have to be on my TV to use, I can be using on the road as well. And also that's opening the door for more things. They announced that there's going to be an Adobe Photoshop for iPad that's coming out for this device next year.
I thought it just said this is Photoshop CC. Like it's the same software that you would have on your computer, but maybe it's I guess for iOS it has to be slightly different. But I don't think they're pulling any features out. It's the
same thing.
Full-featured version of Photoshop, but it's going to run on an iPad Pro.
I know, that's amazing. I love editing photos. I'm always taking photos with my iOS devices. So to me, that's like the heavens opened up and someone saying. So I'm loving what kind of processing power this new thing's going to have.
Yes, it's going to be extremely powerful, and we're all really excited for that. And we'll see what happens, what that means for Switcher Studio once we get our hands on one of these devices. I'm sure we're going to be upgrading soon to have one in here so we can maybe put it through its paces and see what we can do with it. So yeah.
Yeah, so as Jimmy mentioned before, pre-orders for the new iPad Pro are available right now as well. If you are interested in the MacBook Mini or the MacBook Air, you can also pre-order those now. And they are all out on November 7th next week. So they will be in your hands very shortly. But, for our next point, speaking of exciting things, there have been exciting announcements coming through Facebook lately, and one of those is about Facebook groups. So we mentioned on Stream Squad earlier this year that they were pushing group engagement. Now you're able to see some of the group posts in your normal news feed instead of having to go through the group. But with all the advances being made in groups in general, group memberships on Facebook are up 40% over the past year. So it's now been found that 1.4 billion people are part of Facebook groups and actively using them. And that's over half of Facebook's total audience. So that alone is amazing. And from that amount, 200 million people consider themselves part of what they label as meaningful groups. And this means part of your daily routine, part of what you do on Facebook is going to a certain group or maybe 2 or 3 different groups and actually having meaningful conversations in those groups instead of just lurking or technically belonging to them. So they're no longer just a thing that are out there. They're really being used as like a helpful forum. And what's increasing the membership is a lot of organizations are moving towards getting new and current members into groups instead of the usual, here's maybe something that's clickbait or here's a promo code or something. They're handing people flyers and cards saying, if you're interested, join our Facebook group, here's the link. And then once they get to that group, you guys might have seen if you've joined any groups recently, a lot of those groups have the 3-question survey where it lets the admins know more of who you are, why you want to join the group, how you found out about them. And that way they know more about you going into it and they know you're the right person for that group. And once you're in there, a lot of the people that, were surveyed as well say that, they find the dialogue in groups is more productive than it is just on normal timeline posts or Facebook pages posts. So it's more productive. The suggestions tend to be useful and actionable instead of just a quick answer. And also they notice it's a lot more welcoming. There's not a lot of snarky comments and sarcastic comments. And also there's not a lot of marketing and sales going on for no reason. Obviously there are times where those can be appropriate, but a lot of the posts are just generally people trying to help people instead of make a sale. So a lot of users report they feel like they can open up more in those groups, and that's why they're more willing to join a Facebook group on a subject they like than just looking at a post or trying to find something on another platform. But keeping along with this, Mark Zuckerberg, the Facebook founder, says he wants to see 1 billion people say they're involved in meaningful groups on Facebook within the next 5 years. So again, we've got 1.6 currently in groups, 200 million report they're in meaningful groups, and he's hoping within 5 years, 1 billion see themselves as being a part of meaningful groups. And they're going to continue integrating that into your timeline as well, so that way you don't forget about the groups. They're right there along with posts from your family and friends.
I like to think we've got a great active group, and I think everything you just reported that's kind of from a different story is absolutely true about our user group. Is people go there very specifically to get the information that they want, and it really isn't, there's not like snarky comments, it's not like one mutual friend type commenting kind of things that I see happening all the time. And it's definitely people engage in groups. Groups are where a lot of interactions are happening on Facebook, I think, especially in the Switcher Studio user group. If you're not in that, we'll talk to you later on about how to get into that. But just go ahead and search for Switcher Studio Enthusiasts. If you're still watching this video at this moment, just go check it out and join the user group. And you can see a little bit of what Angel is talking about right there. But hey, Ernesto, I've been feeling kind of sick.
Oh yeah? What's going on?
Oh God, I think I'm...
Oh no!
Oh no!
I think I'm falling ill. So another announcement we'd like to, and I think Ernesto, you're going to have to share, pull my monitor in as one of the sources. But
okay.
So Snapchat has released a new application for desktop Macintosh and PCs, and it's called Snap Camera, and it allows you to bring in all of your favorite lenses from Snapchat, and you can use them in your desktop computer as as a device. So I can go through here with Snap Camera. Here, I'll pull it off to the side a little bit. And I can basically just pull through all of these lenses, and it allows me to do everything that I could do that you would normally be reserved for Snapchat. So this is allowing me to kind of pull through all of these different functions. We've got the classic rainbow puke. Let me go find it. It's right there at the top. It's always great to have. And what's great about this is you can see we're doing it here in the left side of your screen. We've got that virtual camera there. What this does is it allows your camera to be used as a virtual source. So if I go in and I look at SwitcherCast, for example, I know this isn't very big. Here, I'll put it where you can see. I know this isn't a very large view, but what we have is I've got the display on my computer. I've got the FaceTime HD camera that's built into this MacBook that I've got just off camera over here. I've actually got an extra webcam that I could put on the table here because I think it's got a better view. And then we have this virtual camera that's called Snap Camera. So it acts as a camera source for your computer. So when you're using all these different popular streaming encoders, aside from Switcher Studio, things like OBS or Wirecast or Streamlabs, all those different things, you can set your output camera to be the Snap Camera. And these are just dumb. I mean, we've got this sort of stuff where...
Got some Red Dead Redemption 2 going
some
on.
Red Dead, some Overwatch. We've got some Power Up going on. But you can see you can use this directly with Switcher Studio. We're using SwitcherCast along with Switcher Studio and the Snap Camera application to do all of these. Let me get, I think, what do I have to do to get the lightning in the eyes? I think I have to get closer. I don't know. They're dumb. You can see, we're clearly going to have a lot of fun with these. So if you're interested in learning how to do this, stick around because later on the show, we're going to walk through how to set this up and how to get one of these Snap Camera filters to go into, I guess they're called lenses really, to get one of these filters to go into your Switcher Studio production. I think, yeah, so just stick around for that if you're interested. Okay, of course, we can always have this guy. Oh, it's just a bunch of random emojis. So, but yeah, stick around for that. Later on in the show, in today's Switch It Up segment, we're going to walk you through how to do all of that stuff. And yeah, so stick around. It's going to be great. Where's the Post Malone filter? I want that one. This isn't quite it, but it's almost there. We've got our Lego guy. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. We're gonna be experimenting with this later on. So please stick around for that and be ready to check that out with us.
Yeah, and we hope you guys enjoyed our industry news segment of the show today. But of course, you know, we try to bring you a lot of these stories and articles that we found interesting, but there are always more out there. So if any of you guys watching have heard any great stories that have come out lately about live video or any kind of apps like Snap Camera or any updates to Facebook or anything, feel free to drop those in the comments, and that way we're able to read those, other people watching are able to read those, and we can all keep each other up to date.
All right, so we're going to move on to our next segment of the show, and every week I'd like to give you the ability to level up your live video and do better stuff, and we're going to do that in this week's segment of Live Video Strategy. All right, so yeah, like I said, every week I'd like to help you get do better live video. We like to think here at Switcher Studio that we've created a lot of great tools that are going to help you create better content. And one of the great tools that we've created, you just saw a taste of it there, is a little tool called SwitcherCast. And what SwitcherCast does is when you install it on your MacBook, for example, or just on your PC, we actually have a beta version. SwitcherCast allows you to take your screen from your computer and cast your screen as a source in Switcher Studio. And it also allows, you can see, at least with the Mac version, this is not currently available in the PC version, but in the Mac version of SwitcherCast, you can also include cameras like the FaceTime HD camera or even a USB webcam that I've got connected here. And as we just saw a moment ago, Snap Camera, you can include those as sources and send them into Switcher. So aside from some of the novelty uses like we just showed with me being a Lego head, we just thought we'd show you a couple different useful ways that you can include the computer screen and what you can do with your live video when you use SwitcherCast. So we've got 7 or more ways here, creative uses for SwitcherCast, and I'm going to start off with one of the first one. And number 1 would be a live website demo. So Ernesto, if you want to like show my screen,
Yep.
One example of this right now is if I wanted to kind of show you all the new the specs on the iPad, I could have this view set up that Ernesto's got, and I could kind of go through here and just kind of demonstrate everything that's on this website. Or if there's something specific, like I want to walk through how something works in the Switcher dashboard, I can go here to the dashboard and I can kind of demonstrate live exactly how this functionality works. So you could use SwitcherCast to do something just like this, where you're demonstrating a live website, or you're walking through something that's online or something that's exclusive to a browser. You can just pull that up on the screen, and then you can be sharing it directly into your video like I'm doing right here.
Yeah, so another thing you can do is a program or software demo. So this is similar to what Jimmy was just saying. With any kind of software demo or programming demo, it's a lot of show, don't tell. So instead of just saying to someone, hey, this is a really cool product, you should get it, and that's it, you can actually pull up the program and show them exactly what to do. Or, you know, if someone in the comments has a question of how did you do this on this program, or is it possible to do this on this program, instead of saying yes or having to refer them out to an external link, maybe on your website or their website, you can actually walk through the process with them live on air, so that way they can respond. If they have any other questions, they can answer them there, and that way you've given people a full introduction to the program that you're trying to promote.
Another thing that we can do, I'm kind of going to be cheating and going back to the web view for this particular one, but what I'm sharing on my screen right now is a presentation that I made using Google Slides. So if you wanted to, if you're already doing like a presentation at an event or something like that, and you're like, oh, I want to get a video of what's going on, you could just as easily take your screen and you could cast the screen in. You could just say present, and now I can take my presentation that I'm going to be doing, and I can be running through the presentation slides while I've got my video going. So taking advantage of the fact that you've already prepared a presentation that's going to be going into some sort of software, like maybe you're using it with something like PowerPoint for Microsoft, or maybe even something like Prezi is like an online version of this as well that you could use. You can take those slides that you've already prepared and you can bring them in as a source in Switcher Studio using SwitcherCast. So this is another great way of just taking something you're already doing and just adding it as a source just by installing SwitcherCast on your computer and then throwing it over and taking advantage of this. This is like a presentation about how many people are going to watch the replay of this video. So 4 million views came from replays in this case. So anyhow, presentations, a great way of using SwitcherCast.
Yeah, another great way, and another big component for live streaming in general is games. So a lot of people get introduced to live video through gaming, trying to find out about different games. And one thing you can do with Switcher Studio and SwitcherCast is to do your own gaming live stream. So you're able to pull up the video game you want on your computer, and you're able to share it directly from your computer into Switcher Studio so your audience can see. And as you've seen, you know, just on our broadcast today, we do have the multi-view effects inside Switcher Studio, so you can still have the picture-in-picture up, so that way your audience can see you, you know, kind of small in the corner, and then your game going on in the background, and of course you can still overlay your logos and everything like that. So you're giving that live presentation of that game to your audience.
Another thing you can do now with Switcher, you have the ability to import pre-recorded videos, but if you for some reason had those videos hosted somewhere else, or maybe they were on a computer instead of directly inside of Switcher and you didn't need the audio, you can also just play those videos from the computer as long as you don't need the sound for it. So for example, for this segment, I've got the live video strategy video that's over here on my computer, and I can include that as a video over here. So now we're sharing the video directly into Switcher using just this kind of, it's kind of a hack when you think of it this way, especially since we added video. But if this is like an alternative to sending your video in using SwitcherCast, or sending your video in with a pre-recorded video. So SwitcherCast is a way of getting those pre-recorded videos directly from a computer in there.
Yeah, and another great point that you can do with SwitcherCast is, you know, getting social media content and putting it up on the screen. So you can do a full wall effect of this using programs such as TweetDeck, so that way you can search, you know, your hashtag or your media handle and show everyone who's responding with that hashtag or with that handle so that way others can see. You're also able to, with some programs, pull up just one specific tweet at a time, and that way you can show that to your audience as well. But that way, instead of just saying Bob Jones said, you can actually show Bob Jones's tweet up on the screen and make it more personal. It makes him feel happy. It helps people see it's a real comment. You're not just making it up. And that encourages more people to write in and use your hashtag or your handle, so it increases their chances of getting featured as well.
Another way that you can use this will just be the last one on the list for now. I don't have a great example of this ready to go at the moment, but we've gone over before on Stream Squad just how you can take some slides that you've prepared through a tool like Google Slides, and you can basically create an automatically rotating set of graphics. You could bring them onto the screen and just set them to automatically roll through. There is an ability to do multi-views in Switcher Studio, so you could kind of have those graphics at the bottom automatically rotating for you. And you could do this using SwitcherCast. Just have a presentation going on the computer, set it all the slides to have a timer, and then just set them to automatically rotate. With the multi-view, you've got them rotating at the bottom while the action's happening at the top. So this is just a really easy way, in my opinion, to get some automatically rotating graphics going. Just using SwitcherCast, some automatically transitioning slides, and a multi-view inside of Switcher Studio. So yeah, these have just been about 7 ways to help you just try to make better use of SwitcherCast. Just think creatively. Basically anything that you can put on the computer's screen can be a source in Switcher Studio. So try to use that to your advantage. Anything that you can think of that you can put on that screen, you want it to be a source, and you want to be able to put it anywhere on the screen, you can do that using SwitcherCast.
Yeah.
So check it out.
And if you guys enjoyed, learning about how to use SwitcherCast, and you enjoy some of the other, live video strategy segments that we've done on the show, make sure to check out our blog. So it's on our website. It's switcherstudio.com/blog. And we do have all kinds of articles and posts with tips and strategies like this, as well as examples of case studies we've done, emerging trends, and also Switcher Studio updates. So it's a great place to be. Even if you're not using Switcher Studio at this time, we still post a lot of content that's useful to everyone out there. And when you go to switcherstudio.com/blog, there's an option to put in your email address and subscribe. And that way, anytime we post a new article, you'll get an alert in your email, so that way you never have to miss an article.
Yeah, so let's just keep the show rolling. A lot of cool stuff. That was a fun topic to look at.
Yeah.
Every week we like to kind of do something different, and that's exactly what we're going to do in this week's edition of Switch It Up. All right, so we alluded a little bit to this earlier on when I had a giant Lego head on, and I'm sure Ernesto is going to periodically go back to that. I just want to show you just how to set up Snap Camera using Switcher Studio and SwitcherCast and bring in all of the lenses available in Snap Camera into a Switcher Studio production, just like we're doing today. It's quite simple, and I just wanted to give you a quick run through of how to do that. One of the first things you're going to want to do, and Ernesto, hopefully you can just kind of go back and forth between my computer screen and maybe showing, because I'm going to have Snap Camera on the screen as well. So what I'm here is I went to snapcamera.snapchat.com. That's snapcamera.snapchat.com. So when you go to this website, you'll get just kind of a preview. You can watch a video on how it works exactly, but they're just showing you this is a great way of taking these filters that are available and use them in things like Twitch is one example where you can take all of the lenses. They've actually made a plugin specifically designed for Twitch so that when you're using these lenses, people can see the lenses, and the lenses can become actually like a sort of like not a badge, what would you call it? It's like a perk that you can get for being a subscriber and for following along. So great move on Snapchat's part, kind of partnering with Twitch to make something that's going to increase people's desire to use these different filters. But what's great about this camera is you don't just have to use it with Twitch, you can use it with any application that requires a camera. So for something like Skype, if you're just trying to do a web camera call, you can use Snap Camera during that call. You can use it if you're doing something like Zoom, if you're doing those sort of things, Google Hangouts, anything where you need a webcam to converse, you can set your camera input as Snap Camera. And with Switcher Studio and SwitcherCast, since Snap Camera becomes one of those devices, now we can set it into Switcher Studio. Let's look at how to do it. So the first thing you want to do is go here, again, snapcamera.snapchat.com, download the application, just say yes to everything, run it, install it. And now when you open up the application, it looks just like this whenever you, well, it doesn't start you with a donut on your head. When you open the application, you just get this sort of setup right here. I've got, let me put more towards the middle for you. So this is the application itself right here. In the settings, all you have to do is tell it which device you want to be your camera. In this case, I've got it set to this little HD webcam I've got off camera because I can kind of move it around. But you can also just use the FaceTime HD camera that is installed, hardwired into your Mac in this case. But you just choose which camera you want there. You can flip the preview so that if you move left, it looks like you've moved left on the screen. I just kind of set it to normal so it doesn't throw me off right now. There's some different ways where you can add hotkeys so that you can go back and forth between specific lenses that you want to do. I'm not going to set any of those up right now because this is just like a quick and dirty how to get installed. You can also create a lens. You can check for updates and see if there's more lenses that are coming out. So once you set which camera is your main input for Snap Camera, all you have to do is just toggle them on or off. So here's one with flowers in my hair. So I don't know, maybe Ernesto, you should set that camera to the one on the left. So here's with flowers. I've set that there. We've got this classic one with the so it's a lot of fun. Obviously, there's a bunch of these different filters that you can pop on. They're augmented reality, so as you move, the filters will move with it. Now, what I've done to get this into Switcher Studio is we've gone ahead and downloaded SwitcherCast for Mac on this. You can find SwitcherCast in the App Store if you just search Switcher space cast. So SwitcherCast, 2 words. You'll find that in the Apple App Store. Download that, install it on your computer, and when I open that, it is a very simple application. It's just this little window is going to pop up, and what this is doing is it's gathering all of the display sources on your computer, and this is the Mac version. It's going to gather all the display sources on your computer. It's going to find the names of them, and it's going to tell you whether they're connected and give you the addresses. So right here we can see that I've got display 1, that's the main desktop, and that one is connected to Nick's iPad is over there. And we've also got Snap Camera listed. So in the list, we've also got Snap Camera. This is where Snap Camera is acting as a virtual camera. Everything that Snap Camera has on it will become a source in Switcher Studio. So now I should have a helmet on my head in Switcher Studio if we wanted to. And then inside of Switcher, when you go to your devices list, because these are on the same Wi-Fi network, you'll see that as one of the inputs and the sources that you can choose. It'll say Snap Camera on Nicholas's iPad. So that's just a very quick overview of how to get Snap Camera as a source in Switcher Studio. I'm going to be putting together a video on this with YouTube where I'm going to give you a little bit more step-by-step instruction, but really interested to see if other people are going to use this. This is a really great thing you could do, especially if you're doing gaming and the picture-in-picture effect. You can put yourself and your Snap Camera down in the corner. You can have your game going in the background from your computer. So this is, I don't know if I want to call this a game changer per se, but it's really awesome how they've made this available. And it's through just some simple computer works just to make it so that any of the things that you would normally be reserved for Snapchat are now available on any camera you can connect to your Mac or PC. So that's really cool. Yeah, really
I think that's one of the best parts where, a lot of the different components you've got, this is just available on Snapchat, or this is just available on Instagram, or this is just for, Twitch and stuff like that. And with this, you can really use it for everything. And I feel like that's going to make it a more popular solution. That way people aren't restricted to just one platform and now it's gone. So definitely kudos to Snapchat for deciding to integrate it with any kind of camera option, because that just opens the door to infinite possibilities.
Ernesto, do you have a favorite filter yet that you've seen?
I really liked that Frankenstein one. I thought that was really good.
What about this one? as
don't know
a
if
developer?
I don't think it's up anymore. No.
You lost it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. So, yeah, I think since I quit SwitcherCast is why. My bad. I totally just exited out of a program.
Here we go.
Maybe
It's
not
back
too
now.
quickly. Yeah. So this is
There we
one.
go.
This is a good one. Be a computer. I think it's great how you can turn your entire head and the whole thing goes with you.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I noticed too about well, not that one. I've got mouths for eyes. That's really creepy. With this one, when you move your eyebrows, the top moves. So when I move my eyebrows up, it closes and opens. So, these are great. I'm really excited to see how other people decide they want to use those if they want to. And we'd like to see those too. So if you're interested in how this might work, tell us in the comments what you want to do with it. And
Yeah, and we've had some great comments. People already thinking of,
Oh, yeah.
of some ideas of how to use SwitcherCast with other apps. Not just Snap, Cam, but
cool,
all sorts of other cool things.
Awesome.
All right, awesome. Well, so before we move on to our next segment, I think it's a good time just to remind you one more time about our user group. We do have a Switcher Studio user group. It's there on Facebook if you search Switcher Studio Enthusiasts. There's actually a couple ways to find it. Angela's better at explaining how to find those than I
Yeah,
am, so.
so we mentioned it earlier, it's called Switcher Studio Enthusiasts, and there are 3 main ways to get there. The first is just typing in Switcher Studio Enthusiasts on Facebook. The second, if you're watching this on a computer right now on our Facebook.com page, you can click on Groups on the menu over on the left-hand side, and it'll take you there. And also, as you saw in that video, if you already have a Switcher Studio account, log into your dashboard at switcherstudio.com, and there's going to be an option right on that front page for join the online community. So any of those 3 methods work. Regardless of which one you choose, there's a short survey to fill out. It just lets us know more about how you're using Switcher Studio and what we can do to make it even better for you. And then after that, you'll have full access to the group. We've got about 3,600 members in there, so that is amazing, especially since we started it, about a year and a half ago at this point. And there's lots of tips and tricks going in. Everyone's really nice, really friendly, and able to help people out. So if you're wondering, can I do X, Y, and Z with Switcher Studio? People normally not only say yes, but respond with, here's how you do it. Here's an example of what I made with this method. So it's definitely a great place to be. And we also get to see a lot of content that you guys have created.
Yeah, and speaking of content that you all have created, we'd like you all to share that with us, and we'd like you to share it with us using a little thing called #MadeWithSwitcher, and that's our last segment for the show, and it starts right now. So yeah, every week we like to feature a user or somebody who has made something with Switcher, and we ask you all to tell us that you made it with Switcher by including #MadeWithSwitcher. I don't know why I have to do this when I say hashtag.
Gotta
now.
do it.
It's like
Gotta do it.
I've been watching too much like Justin Timberlake and Jimmy Fallon stuff, but like #MadeWithSwitcher. If you make something with Switcher Studio and you post it to social media, please include that so we can find that video. And this actually came from someone who is an active user in the user group. And do you want to tell us all about this? Angela's got all the details about a very Switcher wedding.
Yeah, very Switcher wedding. So, we like to show different examples of what can be made with Switcher, and we found this video this week. It's from the guys at WeStream. They're a company up in Canada that, we've been in contact with for a while. We've featured on the show before, and we realized we've never shown a wedding on the #MadeWithSwitcher segment, even though weddings are one of the most common reasons people want to do a live video. So that way, they can share the wedding with numerous people, sometimes an unlimited amount of people, but they can still keep their actual ceremony and reception smaller and more intimate that way. So this video was made from the guys at WeStream. This wedding took place about 3 weeks ago in Ontario, Canada. It was the wedding of Liz McSorley and Darren Cook, so congratulations to you guys, Liz and Darren. But WeStream did this as an hour-long broadcast. So what they did is they set up the camera before anyone was even in, the room for the ceremony. It was outdoors with a tent. And that way you could see the general setup. You could see people walking in more people come in and congregate, and then eventually you get to the entire ceremony, so you get to watch as that takes place. At the end, you get to see them actually sign the marriage certificate, and then there's like a little congregation between bride and groom and all the family and friends afterwards. So all of this is featured in there. It was a beautiful ceremony. And they also had cameras, you know, several different angles inside, but also an angle from the outside. So you could watch as, you know, like the flower girl and everyone was able to walk in. You're able to see some of the environment where they were. It was at Niagara Falls. And they also had a camera on one of the DJI Osmo mobiles, which is the stabilizing gimbal we had. So they were actually able to walk around and get footage of guests before and after the ceremony.
Here's somebody, they got one set inside. You can see, here he goes with the mobile, but he's going up to the front, and right when she gets down there, he's ready to go right there with it. So, yeah, this is an awesome use case of Switcher Studio. All these different cameras set up to say there's a great shot. It's just like,
for sure.
That's great. And she's going to remember this. She's got the video of it. All this made with iPhones and iPads with Switcher Studio. So this is great. Oh, man, really exciting. But just a lot of cameras being used here. And they were able to pull this off. I think this is one of the most interesting use cases I've seen with Switcher Studio. A nice small ceremony. They got a couple cameras around. They've got the musicians over here. What more can you ask for?
I know, right?
Great.
And with, you know, with their setup, they were using a mixer. So, you know, the audio that was running through the microphone so that, you know, the guests at the ceremony could hear, that was also running into the video. So that way, I've seen some, unfortunately, on Facebook, not with Switcher, luckily, but where the camera's in the back of the room and you can't hear the vowels, and it ruins it. So this way, you have that full audio from the vowels going through. So great job to you guys at WeStream. You know, you guys keep putting out that content that we love so much. And again, content like this is also found in the user group, so that way you guys can see more of what is being made with Switcher and get some ideas for your own productions.
Yes, and keep using #MadeWithSwitcher when you do that so that we can find those videos. Folks, this has been a fun show for me. Switcher Man today is who I am. That's our show. Once again, we're here every Wednesday at 2 p.m. on Facebook.com/Switcher Studio. A little bit later on today, if you have any questions about how Switcher works and you want those things answered, come see us. We're having a webinar right there in the user group at Switcher Studio Enthusiasts. It's going to start at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you have any questions, we're going to be right there clicking along, commenting, answering back anything you have while we do a little watch party about how Switcher Studio works. So please join us in the user group. Go ahead and go over there right now and join the user group so you can join us there for that. If you're watching this on the replay on YouTube, once again, subscribe and please follow us. We're making more content like this all the time. We really want you to come along on this journey with us. But thanks so much for watching. That's the end of our show.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't over.
A very spooky episode.
A very spooky episode. But we have a Ghostbuster here who will help us take care of the ghost issue. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. We will see you all next week.
See you guys.
See you later on.